Hey everyone, I'm Terriell, and today we're going to be working on some Pilates exercises to strengthen and improve your balance. Obviously, having good balance is really important. We want to make sure that we can walk down the street, climb upstairs, and do a myriad of other things without tripping and falling on our faces. There may be a number of reasons why you want to improve your balance, whether it will help you in some athletic endeavor like for me, rock climbing, or improving standing yoga poses, or just maintaining good balance and good strength and stability within your body, which is super important just for functionality's sake. Studies show that balance starts to decline right around age 30. So of course, this is important work for any age. There's always room to get stronger, maintain the balance that you have, and improve upon what you've got. So with all that said, let's do this. All right, so we're gonna be mostly standing today. If you are feeling like standing on one leg is super challenging for you, make sure you are close to a wall or have a chair or a countertop or something that you can use to place your hand on for balance. Or you can do this free form and kind of just struggle along and fall out of things, which is also good for improving your proprioception. So either way, you can try it both ways, whatever floats your boat. So there are a few ideas that we want to focus on during this workout, and they are core, making sure your core is engaged, concentration, making sure that you're concentrating on what you're doing and you're really here in the present with your mind. Midline, which is basically the center of your body from your heels all the way up. We want to think of pulling up and in into that midline, especially when we're doing things on 2 feet and on 1 foot. So I'll talk you through some of that. And also gaze. If we are ever on 1 foot, you always want to fix your gaze on an unmoving point straight ahead and try not to move around because that will mess with your proprioception and you'll probably fall over. So let's start with our feet in Pilates stance, heels together, toes slightly apart. And I want you to work on not hyperextending in the knees, but having them long and straight. So we want to wrap the legs around. So you want to feel almost like you're squeezing your inner thighs, pulling your seat, your butt cheeks together, and your hamstrings together in the back. So it's almost like you're screwing your thighs to the outside energetically here, just with your toes about a fist width distance. So they're not super wide. So what this does with heels together, it makes your base of support a little bit wider. So it already is going to help with your balance as opposed to having your toes together. So we're gonna be here and just feel that wrapping motion. And I want you to squeeze your glutes and your hamstrings, squeeze your inner thighs and wrap your thighs as much as you can. Pull up into your abdominals. Core is on, core is tight. Just let your arms float by your sides. And from there, I want you to lift up onto your tippy toes. And now with those legs hugging together, you can feel your heels glued together as well. You can already start to feel your midline up, pulling up from the heels all the way through the backs of the legs into your powerhouse and lifting up through the crown of your head. So the more that you lift up and pull up into your midline, the more balance you're going to have and the more work you'll feel in that midline. And from there, we're just gonna keep wrapping those thighs and then start to lower all the way down. And as you do this, try not to let your ankles collapse to the outside. We want to lift and pushing into the big toe, pressing into that midline. Yep. And then also keeping the gaze forward and fixed straight ahead. And the heels lift again and the heels lower. So what are we doing here? We're strengthening feet, ankles, midline, abdominals, and also working balance by making our base of support smaller by lifting from a flat foot onto the ball of the foot. So this will help in a lot of ways. Let's go for about 3 more, lifting up and lowering down. 2 more times to lift and lower. 1 more time here, lifting up and lower all the way down. Now I want you to separate your heels so that you're in parallel. And then your feet are not too wide. You want them right underneath your hips. And now I want you to spread your toes out on the mat because the positioning of our feet is really important for balance. So you're gonna press your big toes down, lift in your arches, keep the toes spreading out along the floor here, and then get that wrapping feeling in your thighs once more. So you wanna think of squeezing your glutes a little bit, hugging those inner thighs together in the back, maybe hugging up the midline, but not letting your feet turn out at all. We want to keep that forward foot as we lift up onto the tippy toes. Still pushing into that big toe, keeping that energetic wrap in the legs. The abs are tight and the heels lower back down with control. And we'll go again, lifting up and lowering down. You can do this hanging onto a wall, a chair, a countertop, or even hands on hips. And lower. Let's go 3 more times. You want to make sure that you're not collapsing in at all, so we want to keep the knees caps lifted but not hyperextended as you do this, so that your hamstrings and glutes are still working that wrap. And lift and lower. 1 more time. Lift all the way up and lower all the way down. Now let's bring the feet together in parallel. And from here, I want you to raise your arms to the sky and sit back like you're sitting on an imaginary chair behind you, a small imaginary chair at that. It's really tiny, so if you put all of your weight on it, you're gonna fall backward. And you wanna keep spreading your toes on the floor and lifting in your arches by pressing the big toe and the ball of a foot down. And now from there, we'll stand really tall, and you wanna keep your belly pulling in, and you wanna keep that energetic wrap in the thighs in the midline. And we sit down, and we pull in. Now your knees are pulling in together, but you're still wrapping. So you feel the backs of the legs working here. And this will simply just help you track your knees correctly over the feet for the next exercise, which is gonna be a little bit more challenging. Let's go 2 more to stand, 1 more time, and tall. Now I want you to just step back into that hip width distance apart foot position, so not too wide, not too narrow, toes parallel, not turned out, same thing. So now as you sit down, I want you to look down at your toes and at your knees and make sure your knees are tracking, almost pressing to the outside here so that you're not collapsing in at all, because that's a big no-no. That will collapse your arch in your foot, and it will make you lose all of that engagement in the backs of the legs. So we want to work on, and in the hips as well. So we want to work on keeping all of that engaged, still keeping that energetic wrap in the thighs as you bend, not collapsing or knocking the knees together at all. Let's go 4 more. 3 more. Last 2. 1 more time. Good, and stand. All right, so then we take those arms down by your sides, come to stand, feet together parallel. And I want you to bring your hands next to your hips, and we'll do some single leg work next. So now we're just gonna take that right leg and send it forward. And this is low, so you don't wanna try to like kick and lift your hip up. So I want you to think of your hip bones square. One is not going to go higher than the other. So you'll send that leg forward and then reach it back. And then when you reach back, you're slightly tipping forward just a little bit, but not too much. You just want to offset the leg reaching. So you'll feel that standing leg working a lot. And you, just like before, you want to make sure that the seat is squeezing. You're energetically wrapping those thighs, pulling into your midline. And abdominals are lifted, gaze is fixed, and you're concentrating on what the body is doing. And you might feel that left leg and the ankle and the arch of the foot start to burn. Again, use a wall, a chair, a table to help you balance if you're falling over. Let's go 2 more. Leg stays low. 1 more time. Ooh, good. And then stand on two legs. Let's shake it out. And we'll stay on the left leg here, lifting the right leg out to the side as much as you can and pulling it back in. Now when you reach out to the side, you want to feel that outside of the hip engage on both sides, like you're pushing down and out on both sides, down and out, and pulling in. 3 more. Last 2. 1 more time. Shake it out. Good. Now let's switch to the other side. Left leg. Reach it forward. Squeeze the butt on the standing leg. Reach it back. Think of lifting up out of both of those legs. And send it back. Let's do 4 more to the front. Make sure those toes are spreading on the right leg. You're still lifting in the arch of the foot, not collapsing inward, keeping that energetic wrap. 2 more times. 1 more here. Whoa. See, I just changed my gaze and I almost fell over. Keep that gaze connected. And rest. Shake it out for a second. And now we take that left leg up and out to the side, reaching down into the floor to lift the left leg out. Pulling it back in, staying really tall, staying lifted through that midline, all the way up through the crown of the head. 4 more times. And pull it in. 3 more. Last 2. 1 more time. Good. And now I want you to just shake the hips from side to side, let go of that burn. Next is challenge round. So if you're next to a chair or table wall, go ahead and step off to the side. So from here, I want you to point your toes forward and we're going to squeeze the legs together in parallel. So now I want you to lift up into your powerhouse, squeeze the butt, squeeze the midline, fix your gaze, pick your right foot off of the floor. You can hug it into the chest, lifting in your powerhouse. And now start to roll down, keeping that knee into the chest. We're gonna drop the head down, rolling through the spine, and that leg's gonna continue to pass through center until you're hanging over with the leg straight behind you. And now check in with your hips. Hips are square. If your hips go off kilter, it'll be hard to balance. It'll throw you off to the left. Now we're gonna walk out with the hands, staying on one leg. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's do a push-up for fun, just one. Down and up, and then send your hips up and back. From there, walk back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now take this moment to square off your hips, squeezing your right butt cheek. That back leg is working hard. And now start to pull it into your chest as you round your spine. You can soften the left knee. Really concentrate here as you pull that knee in towards the chest, standing tall. Go ahead and float that right leg down as you get taller. Ooh, and then we'll do that on the left side. Now pull into that right leg, lift up out of it, lift your powerhouse, float your left leg off the floor, reaching it in towards the chest. From there, chin to the chest, start to roll down your spine. As that knee goes with you, you want to keep that knee in towards the chest, right until your knees pass each other. Reach your fingertips to the floor and stretch that left leg out. Now take this moment, you can float your fingertips down, make sure the hips are square, dropping your head in that forward fold, and then go ahead and walk your hands up. 4, 3, 2, one-legged plank, one push-up. Down, up, send your hips up and back. Keep those right toes facing straight as you walk back. 2, 1. You can keep the knee soft here and then start to roll up, lifting in your powerhouse. pulling those knees together and then pulling that left knee into the chest as you reach vertical. Good, steady in that balance. And then set the leg down to stand tall. And there you have it, some really fun Pilates exercises to help you improve upon your balance. If you have any questions about improving your balance or Pilates and balance in general, make sure to drop them below in the comments, or you can always shoot me a DM on Instagram at Terriell Samuels. Links are below in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you had fun, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, and most importantly, if you got a good workout, make sure you hit like, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the mat next time.